Hey everybody, this is David Skarica. So this is David Skarica, and now we really will get back on. I apologize for no stock chart of the day. I was doing the final edit for my book, and you get wrapped up on that, and it's a lot of work, and it's very like mentally draining when you're editing, and then obviously I have to update statistics and for the current moment, even though the book won't come out till next year sometime. And this thing's like 3 or 4 years in the making. It's ridiculous because I think I started writing it in 2019. And then the COVID stuff happened, and I was like, well, I told the publisher that this has to change now because this kind of changed the investment landscape and the landscape of the world. And then they cut rates to zero. And then we had this huge bubble. And then, they raised interest rates. And then we had inflation and Russian war invaded Ukraine. So it just like things kept happening. And obviously you can't put it off because things are always happening in the world. But this was very extreme, with the first major pandemic we've seen really since, 1918. And then, the whole thing that happened afterwards with the stimulus, it was, really kind of pushed it back, which is fine. Because I think now my philosophy in the longer term, as I will outline in this book, is much more clairvoyant, right? So anyhow, we're going to look at a few things here. So today's stock chart today is going to be about cannabis. We see the futures are up a bit. The employment report is today. So and gold is edging up. That's interesting for another day. But today is cannabis. So we're going to look at the cannabis sector. So what happened here is, which is interesting. I swear sometimes Yahoo Finance is just horrible sometimes. Okay, I'm going to go into the stock charts. Yeah, here we go. So we're going to go look at a cannabis ETF, and then we'll look at some of the stocks. We'll go ETF. Let's see which one I want to look at. Let's just, let's look at that's the and you can see the huge move here, right? You can see this 35% move in almost 2 days, and granted, coming right off the lows, like this is a shorter term trend. When you see that, well, this is a shorter term. We'll get PODX up in a second, but you can see even from 2022, this fell nearly 75%. So we get PODX. And you can see that, you can see what that looks like longer term, right? It's not exactly some huge thing, but it does look like shorter term. We're kind of starting to take out these resistance levels on heavy volume. There's some follow through this morning. Like if we look at PODX here in the pre-market, you see it's up another 3%. CGC is up another few percent. So is Aurora. So yeah, actually another 11%. Actually, we had, I'm laughing because I had these calls on CGC, which I bought at 11 cents just as an earnings play. And then, didn't really do much in its earnings. And I just forgot about it. It was a very small position. I think it was like $400 or something. And then boom, see, it pops and day before expiration, I get out of this trade even. So there you go, right? Sometimes it's better to be lucky than smart. So anyhow, you can see this here. And I love these kind of charts where you get this long base and then you break out on heavy volume. That's a classic kind of bottoming. And CGG really has it. So CGG still needs to go a little higher. Let's get we'll get like a 6-month chart so you can really see it. So these are really like stock charts of the day. So you can see, yeah, CGG, I'd say I have to break about 65, but of course it's at 63 today. So if it can break that, this is a beautiful basing pattern here. And of course, one thing that's happening is, so why is this happening? Well, you'll see the news right here that like the health officials in the United States is recommending that the US ease its restrictions on marijuana, right? Drug classification, blah, blah, blah. And usually that's the first step to legalization, like decriminalize it or like, make it a lower tier drug in terms of its status. Sorry about that. 1 second. I have to get back into this. Sorry, I closed the entire thing. Sorry about that. Yahoo Finance is quirky today. So anyhow, welcome to the world of streaming. Get back on Zoom. It's never happened before. Anyhow, anyhow, you can see that's what's happened to the marijuana stocks, etc. You could put them all up. They all look the same right now. This is Cron. You can see the big move there. ACB's had a little more muted move. I guess the problem with ACB is there's some kind of potential lawsuit against them, like a small lawsuit that they said a sale was fake, to inflate earnings when things are bad. So, but it's up a few percent as well. You can see the volume really came onto it. I don't know why ACB is lagging, because I saw the news on the lawsuit, but the thing is, this breakdown here was on low volume. So usually if a lawsuit or some news like that is going to kill a stock, it's gonna bring high volume into the stock. So I find it more interesting that, the volume is coming in on the upside. It's still moved from 44 to almost 50, right? And it's up another few percent this morning. So I think once they get that out of the way, it could do very well. But we can see here, let's look at Tilray. Tilray's already kind of come off its lows more than the others, and some good news, but it's right at its resistance as well. So you can see they're all moving. So our stock chart of the day is or charts of the day is cannabis, lowering the tier it is in terms of punishments. And then that probably will lead to decriminalization, and then also lead eventually to legalization. I've said too, one reason I'm bullish on cannabis is not just because the stocks are cheap and they're beaten up, is that I think that the Biden administration and one of their attempts to get reelected is going to really push the legalization thing. Like, they really should have done it in the first 2 years of the term, because they had majorities in both the Congress and the Senate, but they just, for whatever reason, didn't. Probably because it's just an inept administration. But now that I think they're going to really push for it, and they'll probably get it done, because you have to think that a few Republicans will cross the aisle, because they also want to get reelected, right? So I do think you'll see that occur, right? So, but as we know in Canada, the decriminalization does not necessarily mean that things are going to be hunky-dory in terms of these companies being able to make money. So our sponsor company, well, they're not even a sponsor company, just I really like this deal. They're going to become a sponsor company again. I'm probably about to do a marketing contract with them as well. So but Carlyle, which was doing a $900,000 to $1 million financing, ended up actually raising almost $1.2 million. Sorry, they closed it, and now they're a little more cashed up. I know some of you participated in it. It was 8.5 cents with a 15-cent warrant. So they've closed it. The stock, again, talking about, unfortunately, I got to get stock charts to put it on. Carlyle is not on stock charts. So we're going to just look at here on Yahoo Finance. And you can see it hasn't quite did. It looked like it might yesterday, but we're close again to this kind of, this basing, which I like, and then breaking out. I think we still have to break about 12.5 to 13 to do that, but it is nice to see it out of the single cents and into the double cents. So, and I think that once you break that, then you're looking at some resistance at around 15, and then really nothing to 25 to 30 cents. So even if you did not participate in the financing, I've been buying this on the market as well. I really like Morgan Good, the CEO, etc. So there's Carlyle. So that's our stock chart of the day for today. September 23rd. September 1st, 2023. Excuse me. It's like 6 a.m. in the morning here, and I didn't sleep that great last night. So so we're gonna put this out and blast it out, and everyone have a great Friday. And like I said, these will now when we finish with the edits of the book, these will now become a daily occurrence, and I might even do more in-depth ones like this over the next few days or a week, to kind of make up for the fact that I did not have a stock chart of the day, or only had a couple this week. Okay, everybody, take care.